Hey everyone, Mike Monday here, and in the next few videos I'm going to share with you my simple step-by-step system for finishing music faster. This is what I take people through in Start Now, Finish Fast. So by giving you the system over the next few videos, you can do it for yourself, know where you need to focus and get to where you want to go. So step one is about that, because if I asked you to hit a target, and hitting this target, your life's fulfillment and your happiness was dependent on you hitting this target. You not lying on your deathbed wondering what if was dependent on you hitting this target. But if you didn't know what it looked like, where it was, which direction it was in, how far away it was, how likely would you be able to hit that target? You simply would not be able to do it at all. And remember, hitting this target, your happiness, the fulfillment of the rest of your life is dependent on you hitting it. You see, I mean, you wouldn't even know what tool you'd need for the job. Whether you'd have to buy something, what skill you'd have to learn. I mean, you know, if it was really close to you, you might just be able to use a stone, but if it was a long way, you might have to learn how to use a sniper rifle or something. So knowing what it is that you want, having a goal, is simply not optional if you do want to be fulfilled in life. You have to know what you want. It's the starting point to everything, both on a macro level, i.e. what do you want for the whole of your life, but also on a micro level. What do you want to do today? What do you want this tune to be like? Even smaller things. Whenever you're stuck, it's probably because you're not clear on your goal. Not always, but often when you're stuck, the first thing to ask is, what am I trying to achieve here? Okay. Now, so basically, the first step is determining what you want. So if this is you, just check you can see that. Yep. And this is your goal up here. So you've determined what it is you want. And as I'm talking to music producers, I'm guessing one of your goals could be to make music your life. That's the name of my forum. That's one of the reasons I called it that, because that was certainly my goal when I was a music producer. So now you know what your goal is. If it is, in fact, to make music your life, then what's the best? What's a micro goal to actually achieve that? Well, my suggestion is simply to make music fast on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a secondly basis. Make finishing music your number one priority. Make that your goal. It's a great goal to have, just to want to increase your output. Even at first, especially when you're a beginner, or even when you're not a beginner, when you're kind of intermediate, think about finishing as much music you can, increasing your quantity before you think about increasing quality. I think a really great way of looking at it is the way that Google, Apple, and software companies create products. They create a version of something, version 0.1, and then they iterate, constantly improving. Think of each tune as a new iteration. You know, version 1.1, version 1.2 of you as a music producer, rather than trying to get better, trying to become the music producer you want to be and know you can be in the space of one single track. I think of making music like digging for diamonds, and this will be the case even when you're an expert. You'll write a lot of crap, but the only way of getting to the good stuff is to actually get the crap out. So I just want to make it clear why this is so important and why this approach, the way I think about it, is not about making crap music. I am as concerned about the quality of your music, and I was about my music at the time. But if you are always focusing simply on the quality of each individual track, then you will never finish. If you want your track to be as good as your favorite piece of music, then you will never finish. And when you do finish, you get better much more quickly. In fact, by finishing quickly, you usually find, especially as you do get better, that your best tracks come out quickly. And as a result, it's a two-way street. If you finish quickly, you'll also find that better tracks come out. Obviously, you need a certain level of skill for this to happen, but the best way of getting better is to actually finish more music. And remember, even if you are actually focusing on finishing, you're not really going to be ever losing your concern about the quality of your music. I mean, I've only ever met one person I know of who decided to slow down the rate at which they produced. Everybody else doesn't have that. Everybody else I've ever helped doesn't have that problem. You will always be concerned about the quality. Of course, you're not going to be wanting to put crap into the world. So actually focusing on finishing as quickly as you can isn't going to mean that you suddenly make crap music. Quite the opposite, in fact. And there are more reasons why you need to make music fast, why it's the best way of reaching your goal. If you think of each finished track as an opportunity to learn, as we've already discussed, develop and grow as a music producer. But that will only happen if you finish it, because you'll get the feedback from that finished track. Of course, you'll learn, develop and grow a little bit if you never finish anything, but you'll probably only learn, develop and grow the one bit that you're getting to, probably the loop stage, isn't it? A lot of people hate going on to the arrangement. The other thing is it's an opportunity to experience a shift, a shift in your priorities. As you start to notice your progress, by finishing all of this music, because you will get better as long as you learn, develop and grow from all of those pieces of music you're not happy about, you will experience a shift in your priorities. Music making will go up the list of priorities, and suddenly you will start to find time appearing in your life to make music. It's also an opportunity to meet other people, maybe collaborators, maybe people who can help you, labels, other people in the industry. Expand your network and develop your career. Every piece of music is, in essence, a calling card, could be a calling card. Obviously, it won't be a very good calling card until it's to a certain level, but that's okay, because the quickest way to get it to that level is to finish music. And the fourth thing, which I don't really talk so much about, but it's probably one of the most important, really, is that by building a catalogue of finished music, whichever way you look at it, whether the music that you're finishing you don't think is good enough yet, or whether it is good enough yet. If it's not good enough yet, then you are building an asset of raw material you can use in the future. Finished music you can draw from and use in the future. If it is good enough yet, then you are building an actually potentially financially very valuable asset. You can release the music, you can get the publishing royalties from the music, which, by the way, is different from actually selling the tracks through a label. That's other money that comes from somewhere else. Building a catalogue of music is a way of building an extremely potential asset, whichever way you look at it, whether it's not good enough or is. So one of the things, if you are currently stuck in this kind of quality mindset, that I think it will help you, and I've mentioned this before, is Google Ira Glass on storytelling. Okay. Now, there's various different videos. It doesn't matter which one you watch. It's the words that count. It's only about 3 minutes long or something. And he talks about, Ira Glass is a radio guy, but he's talking to creative people of all kinds. And he explains there that as a beginner or even as an intermediate, and I think even as an expert, because you've been listening to music for years, in his case he's obviously talking about radio, but it works for music as well. Because you've been listening to music from the time you were a very small child probably, your taste is always going to be way in advance of your ability to create it. So if you don't finish anything until you create something which is to your taste, then you're never going to get anywhere, because the best way, as I've shown you very extensively here, is to finish lots of music. So if you are currently in that mindset, that kind of, it must be the most brilliant thing I've ever heard, then just Google that and it will help you. And also, finally, just let me finish with, if you are stuck or going at a snail's pace and you're thinking, yes, but I don't think I can do this, just know that I have been where you are right now. I mean, I didn't finish a single track for 2 whole years back in just before the turn of the century, around 1998 to 2000. I didn't finish a single track for 2 whole years. I didn't have any gigs. I didn't have any prospects of any, because I hadn't finished any music. But when I shifted my focus from the quality of each individual track to just finishing music, making that the win, within 6 months, my life changed. I didn't immediately start traveling the world and playing to thousands of people. That kind of gradually grew over time. But I was able, within 6 months, to give up the terrible part-time job I had at this coffee shop, chopping carrots and things like that. And all of these things started happening. I became happier, and as a result, things got a lot better for me. And the first step I took was make my goal finishing as much music as I could. And you can do it too. I know you can. So that's it for today. In the next video, we're going to be on to step 2. If you'd like to know more about the way that I finish music, there's a free video training course I have online. There'll be a link to it somewhere on this page. So until next time, onwards and upwards, just finish it. It's good enough already.